Hey everyone, it's Julie. Today we'll be making German chocolate cake. I used my all-time favorite chocolate cake recipe and made a coconut, pecan, or pecan, whatever you call it, frosting, and it was amazing. So let's get started. Here I have some all-purpose flour. To it I added some baking powder, baking soda, and salt, and some unsweetened cocoa powder. Give it a whisk. If you can find some cocoa flour, that'd be great. I don't think you will though, that doesn't exist yet. In a separate bowl, we're going to get started on our wet ingredients. 2 eggs, vegetable oil, milk, vanilla extract, and sugar. Give everything a whisk. Add in your prepared cocoa flour, and then we're going to pour in a cup of boiling water just to loosen the batter up. I really believe that cake batters that are really thick tend to come out a bit dry versus the looser batter that tends to come out super moist. Now let's talk about scrambled eggs for a second. I've made this chocolate cake about 300 times. I've never took a bite out of it and bit into some scrambled eggs because I know some of you might think, well, won't the boiling water scramble the eggs? If you pour in the water slowly and whisk continuously, you should be perfectly fine. Although if you'd like to pass the cake batter through a sieve, that is completely up to you, but you really don't need to. See? No scrambled eggs. Although some scrambled eggs and bacon do sound good right now. I'm using 2 8-inch cake pans. I buttered and floured them so nothing sticks. You can use parchment paper instead. And now let's bake this in a preheated oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. Once the chocolate cake is done baking, you're going to want to line a baking sheet with some parchment paper. Take some coconut flakes, spread them out, and place them in the oven for about 4 to 5 minutes. Now while the coconut is toasting up, I'm going to give the pecans a rough chop, but before I did that, I separated a couple to snack on and decorate the top of the cake. I got the prettiest ones, and then just give everything a rough chop. Now it's time to really make our frosting. You're going to need some unsalted butter, sugar, vanilla extract, 2 egg yolks, and some evaporated milk. Give everything a stir, and you want to cook it for about 2 minutes or until it starts to boil rapidly. I switched over to a whisk, much better. Once it boils, remove it from the heat. And this might look super weird at this point, but you have to trust me. Add the chopped pecans and the coconut flakes. Give everything a stir and just let it sit. Now once and only once your cake has completely cooled, you want to start frosting it. I will let the cake cool for about an hour, and you definitely want to let the frosting cool for a minimum of 40 minutes. It looks very time consuming, but it really isn't at all. The hardest part is letting the cake and frosting cool completely, to be quite honest. Some of you might say that this really isn't a frosting, it's more of a filling. You're probably right, but I'm going to place half of the frosting, let's just continue to call it frosting, on top of the first layer, and then the remaining half on top of the second layer. This frosting is a bit loose, so I didn't want to frost the sides of the cake with it. I just let it drop a bit. If you really want to take this cake to the next level and make it look gorgeous, you can definitely make a chocolate buttercream frosting to frost the sides of the cake, and then it will look much neater and nicer. I placed the pecans we saved earlier on top, and that's it. We're ready to slice into this. This cake was so fluffy and moist and delicious. I really enjoyed it. Coffee, milk, tea would be fabulous with this. I really hope you guys give this recipe a try. If you have any other cake requests, leave them down below and I will gladly make it. There I was just telling you that you should always wipe your knife in between slices. By the way, do you see how soft this cake is, but it still holds together and doesn't fall apart? There are 3 types of cakes in this world. The one that is crumbly and dry, yuck. The one that just falls apart for no reason. And then the fluffy, moist one that stays perfectly put. This one is that one. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I really hope you make this cake. If you do, let me know how it turned out. And thank you all so much for watching.